Vayehav HaMelech es Esther mikol hanoshim. The king loved Esther more than all of the other women. Esther means there's nothing more that the king of all kings loves than how Jews conduct themselves during a time of Hestepanim. When we're frightened, we see things in the world that are happening that we don't understand. Our avoda has been these months, and especially now, Lech Knos Es Kol Hayu, for us to be together, to give chizuk to each other, to strengthen each other, and to mechazik each other. Then there's and there's another prayer miracle.
This whole thing went down in a very unnerving way. Rebbe knew something, and he got up and he spoke for a few minutes, came down and he said, Tehillim. I've never seen this. I mean, the shul was like, what just happened? And so, on Simchas Torah, we gathered everybody together in that last hakafa in the morning. If I remember, Rebbe stood in the circle, and he just, again, again, and again. And you can see in his face, he was trying to get us to repeat the song again and again so that we would actually believe it.
I feel that the theme of Altira is very appropriate for now. But the confidence that Jews need not to be afraid, that comes with Jews being closer to each other. That's the strongest way to overcome our fear, when we know that we have each other. I think that gives the soldiers in Eretz Yisrael tremendous chizuk in their fear, knowing that all of Am Yisrael is davening for them. All of Am Yisrael is cheering for them. All of Am Yisrael is waiting for them. That gives us also the courage to fight the war, that internal battlefield against fear, against the enemy, against Hamas inside your head. That's where we get it from each other. Each one of the honorees, each one of these beloved and holy men and women has played a vital role in holding together this fabric, this amazing garment, this lavush that's called Aish Kodesh.
I mean, that's really the essence of the honorees, and it's in and of itself. You have David and the Lawrences, you have the Honigs, you have the Erreichs, each and every single one of them under the radar, unassuming, quiet, and they just say little and do a lot. And obviously then you have Andy Lauber.
Andy Dandy, sweeter than candy.
I have all these things, but they sound rude.
Hi, what are you?
He's very loud.
Like every once in a while, Andy goes, and I'm like, can you help me with a truck or something? David is not here. And he looks at me like with this big smile, and I'm like, help me. And Andy just goes.
The Lauber's impact on Aish Kodesh. I brought them in.
No, I brought Lauren in, and then she influenced Andy.
She influenced Andy.
Well,
When we moved, everyone was making fun of me. How could you move to Woodmere? And then they all came.
It's not enough to give a handshake for Andy. Andy's got to give the double. He's got to put both hands on it.
When Andy comes in with a two-handed handshake, he takes your hand, puts another hand over it, bends down. When he bends down, this is really bad. He bends down and says, shkoyach, shkoyach. That means it was an utter disaster.
I give the handshake to the guys.
What does that mean?
He says, if I give a double handshake.
That's a good one?
No, that's a bad one.
Oh!
It's all shtiyot.
Andy is somebody who makes up the fabric of the place. Andy is other-centered. He is working to lift up and to help other people.
If you listen closely in Aish, anytime somebody starts a niggin in Aish that may not be well known, Andy's always got your back. Always. So I asked him why. And he said one time Rabbi Kurlin said to him that it's also a chesed when a Baal Tefillah is up there to make him feel like someone sings with him. Guess what? You're up there alone, you start a song, no one knows it, you're in Aish Kodesh, it's panic. It's gonna be on the scorecard tomorrow, it's gonna be on ESPN, you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't just do that. Andy's got your back.
A man's a tzaddik. It makes me emotional when I think about it. He's someone who has devoted his entire life to helping people.
There was one time I think we were going to Allen's. It was Thursday night, she needed to get a challah, and there was this lady outside that didn't have any money. My mom bought her a whole challah, and this lady, like, her face lit up. And I looked at my mom like, why'd you do that? And she was like, you always gotta look out for people, and everyone's gotta be there for each other. And like, I always look up to be like them.
You know, I would go to shul Friday night and people will go over to me and be like, oh my gosh, you are your mother. And I'm like, yeah, my mom, like that's the best compliment anybody could ever give me.
Hi.
He doesn't really know how he became Gava, he just became Gava.
Like every Friday night after Kabbalah Shabbos, I went to say good Shabbos to Rebbe, and he looked at me in the eyes and said, I want you to think about maybe being Gabbai. To which I looked at him and said, Rebbe, I thought about it, and the answer is no. And he said, no, think about it. So I came home, and she said...
You said no to Rebbe?
Next day, again, I went over to say good Shabbos, and he says, no. I looked at him and said, so what? He said, we have a new Gabbai, Mazel Tov, we have a new Gabbai, this is great. And before I could even say boo, he already had his coat on and he was exit stage left, gone. And as he's walking out, Charlie goes, that's great, you're the Gabbai, that's brilliant. And I said, I said no.
Moshe Plevsky, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. I'm like, Auntie, why are they wishing me Mazel Tov?
It's not an easy job, but it's a bracha.
Rebbe and Rebbitzin have been a huge impact on our family. The decisions that we made changed the lives of our children.
Even things that were seemingly wild.
Well, we name nameless.
And it really benefited our family to the extent that our children have a very unique connection to our Rebbe and our Rebbitzin.
Anytime I meet Lauren in the grocery, it could be in the middle of aisle number 3 by the canned fruit, and she's hugging me and she's laughing with me, and it brings a little California sunshine, I think, into New York.
It was Tu B'Shvat, and I had the whole fruits and everything putting it on the table. And then when I was at the video, and I got a shout out from the Rebbe, I'm like, what? Whoa, I never thought it was gonna happen. And it was like, Shoshana Lauber did this or something, and I was like really happy, and I'm like, oh my God, I got a shout out from the Rebbe.
I want a place where I can grow, where I can connect in a very deep, meaningful way, where there's a Rebbe that in one drasha can quote the Brisker Rav, Rabbi Nachman. He can quote, some rock and roll song from the 1960s, as well as some other tshuvas from Ricky Veger. I love the fact that my family and my children are able to enjoy those too. And we have to have emunah bitachon, we have to hold on tight, but we're holding on to Rebbe's coattails, because he's the one that's leading us through this. David
Lawrence. That's where I have the most stuff.
And David Lawrence is just probably first one in, last one out.
He's in shul a lot.
True.
He's in shul a lot.
It always seems to be mincha time when something in the house is going down.
And Marv and
Shirim.
Baruch Hashem.
He's always the guy making sure the Torahs are right. He's always the guy just making sure everything within the shul is right. But he's quiet. Nobody sees him, nobody knows, and nobody hears him because he's quiet. Sometimes too quiet, but he's quiet.
Rebbe's Torah, the Pnimius Torah, is something that has definitely changed David, has changed our home. He has his nose in a sefer all day. He comes home from shul, he has like one foot in this world, one foot in the next world, but he's like alive in such a beautiful, ruchnistic way.
Before we moved in, I davened here for the Yom Narayim. We stayed by her sister, and after that I was like, okay, this is my place, never want to go anywhere. And we've been here 13 years, and I think I've missed less than 10 Shabbos, including the 4 trips I was on. It's amazing.
Dave is a real balavoida, and him with his Rebbitzin, they give their whole selves to the shul.
I was here less than a year, and then they approached me and said they're looking for a Gabbai Sheni. And I said, okay, I don't know anybody. I've been here less than a year and no interest. He says, okay. And 10 minutes later, I get a call from Rebbe. He asked me to be the Gabbai. I said, I don't know anyone. I said, I've never done this before. He says, perfect, that's exactly what we're looking for. And 12 years later, I'm still in the role.
My experience with the Gabbai here, and I hardly ever get an Aliyah, if ever, even when I come during the week, unless one of them is not the Gabbai. Then I get an Aliyah.
A few months ago, Rebbe had discussed the changing of the shul, moving out the pews, and instead having the tables and chairs. He didn't even realize how much it would revolutionize the shul, and that we're able to have all these events in the shul, the Hilulas, Hanukkah, Purim. It's incredible, what it's really done for the shul. So if I rewind a little bit, we were in the process of ordering the tables and chairs. So David Lawrence said to me, Moshe, this is going to be the biggest disaster in the history of the shul. What's the opposite of a visionary?
It was my second year in the shul, just getting to know the Chevra. And I was sitting next to Rav Weinberger, and David was on the other side. And Rav Weinberger whispers in my ear, and he says, a guy like David Lawrence is 1 in a million.
You know, in life, some people do a little, and everybody knows about it. And some people do a lot, and nobody knows.
I'm amazed that David accepted doing this. I know that I heard that it was not easy.
No, it's very special. Rebbe's changed our life. I mean, he's, Jeremy Fader's here. Baruch Hashem.
Is this the guest of honor thing? Wow. I gotta get in this. I can't believe you took this. DL, I thought you said you'd never take it.
I'm not surprised Shoshana did. She loves the limelight, pretends to be a doctor.
You know he's been begging for years.
I know.
By the way, that's the secret. You know how many times Rebbe's asked him to step down from being the gabbai? Every year, David, it's time. We really have to give one of the other chevra a chance. He won't stop. He just won't stop, not until he's honored.
So I was thinking, if you take Gaboyim, and you have to use the end of mem as 600. So Gaboyim is Gematria Zeh Mordechai Aryeh David Michal. So that means they're Gaboyim for life. I hope they like it.
What is the Aish Kodesh? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
It's home. It's the place where we connect to Hashem. That's what we do here. I heard about Rebbe. I didn't necessarily think this was like, I'm for sure coming here, but I had heard about him. But when I came here the first time to David, I was like quiet, a certain seriousness, I guess. When I'm here, I feel comfortable. It's like I have that quiet, I can really daven.
I feel like Yishai is the type of a person I can call with anything that I might need, going the extra mile for us.
He is somebody that I'm proud to call a friend.
Having been here a long time, I've developed some amazing friendships, people that you can totally open up to.
Recently, we rekindled the chavrusa, and right from the get-go, Yishai came up with all this chidushim, and it hit me, wow. Did you hear Yishai's kasha? And I was like so proud that Yishai is coming up with all this chidushim. I was really amazed by it. I started taking notes. Instead of my chidushim, I started taking Yishai's chidushim.
They want to see their chaverim grow also. They want to see them be successful. It's almost like you feel like people here have your back. I always feel it.
After davening, he goes upstairs and he learns b'chavrusa and the pearls which come out of his mouth. I'm sitting learning in front, but I'm quietly listening behind me.
I don't think he wants me to go and say everything that he does here, but he just does a lot of stuff. And he gets stuff done and things that people don't appreciate.
I do help out as much as I can for Shalosh Shudas with Nahum Lewin, Rob Weinberg, Avi Adler, Daniel Sturm and his boys, Ruvi and Yair. It's special. There's certain things that Rebbe will talk about only at Shalosh Shudas, I've noticed over the years, that he won't necessarily speak about during other times. It's almost like, I don't want to say it's poetry, but the way Rebbe weaves Torahs from Chassidus, Pnimius, and kind of connects on a very neshamadik level, that's the specialness.
But I don't go to Shalosh Shudas.
Yishai is an Aish Kodesh. He's filled with fire. You would never know it unless you get to interact with him, to see him, but he's on fire for Hashem.
I was once speaking with Rebbe, and Rebbe said to me, you know my Gadol Amar? And he listed a few guys from the shul, and Yishai Honig was one of those guys.
Liat and Yishai take care of their family so beautifully, and their kids are balanced as well. And it's something that is really inspiring and motivating for me and Orly to model after them.
Yishai is a Chabad Chassid. The Rebbe Rashab said something amazing. Just like with diamonds, one has to be a maven to understand what's a fine diamond and what's not a fine diamond. When you understand neshamas, you understand what's a fine neshama and what's not a fine neshama. So when we speak about Yishai, he's the sweetest of the sweet. I'm not a maven in neshamas, but I'm going to tell you, Yishai comes from the highest of the high.
They're big people here, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't find that. I think people are deep, they care, they're davening for you. You've seen over time, but people really, really care about each other, no matter what is going on.
Erreich, I know them.
But tell me about them.
I can't, it's HIPAA.
Well, he was the treasurer here. That's really where he came on the scene.
Getting the checks and depositing them, making sure the financials are in order. Just got a lot of stuff done.
Talia and Ellie and Jason and I, we went to an Aish young couples event. And I remember Rebbe giving a drasha about players and spectators. And Talia and I, to this day, are always joking around with each other. Come on, are you going to be a player or are you going to be a spectator? And we're sitting here because Talia and Ellie really are major players within the Aish family.
I get a call from Jay saying, "Hi, Ellie." I'm like, "Hi. We're looking to having a new treasurer. Do you want to be it?" I said, "I don't know." And then he said, "You don't want to waste everybody's time." I mean, this is a classic, strong arm that we use here in Aish Kodesh. That's how I'm being honored also. If you don't say yes, then Rebbe's going to call you and make you do it. And you don't want to waste this time. You don't want to waste Rebbe's time.
It's good to have people like Ellie really taking charge, caring, going the extra mile for us.
Gets everything done. Somebody who you can count on. Be'amuna, service tzibur be'amuna.
Elie is a man of energy. He's always texting me, how do we do this? How do we sponsor this? Should we get more food? The president reaches out to him and says, I need this. He's there.
Elie is not a natural taker. He's a giver. If he feels like he's getting a lot from someone, something, he feels like he has a debt that he needs to pay. And he felt like he was getting so much out of Aish Kodesh, the Rebbeim here. His natural inclination is to say, what could I do to give back? That's why he took the position. That's why he put his all into it. That's why he took it so seriously. That's why randomly at night I couldn't find him.
And then my wife told me I needed a second job.
Again, the Aish Kodesh model. Rebbe breeds these types of people, and he brings it out of them. It's a special place to be because everybody here is like-minded and that like-hearted.
In their own quieter way, are really forces.
They bring you into their family, their extended family. Their home is always open. It's just a nice environment.
Ellie is just unassuming sweetness.
Ellie is the sweetest of the sweet. Every single interaction you see, he's a mevakesh. He always wants to grow, always wants to learn, always has a sefer in his hand. And those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. So when I think about Ellie, I think about somebody who has a rotzen to keep pushing and growing and to make the people around him better.
When they came to the Yam Suf and the Mitzrayim were trying to wipe them out, there was Nahum ben Aminadab. And he said, Al Tira, if we had a moment like that in Mitzrayim, a whole year of Makos, why do I have to be afraid? And with that spirit of Al Tira, he went first into the Yam Suf. Al Tira, 642, it's Gematria Nahum ben Aminadab.
My father, Zichron Levacha, said that during the time of the Holocaust, at the beginning, he was trying to get out. He got into a train, and he was surrounded by German officers and hostile Hungarians. He took a newspaper, and he put the newspaper in front of his face, and he was trying to hide behind this newspaper. And this was working for around 10 minutes into the trip, my father said, and then he heard some mumbling that there's a Jew, and he jumped up, and he jumped off the train. And they started shooting at him. He was able to escape. He got nicked with a bullet in the side of his leg. But my father said that they were able to smell the Jew from a mile away. But Jews were not able to smell each other, not able to feel each other. We weren't seeing each other. Like it says that Yosef HaTzadik and his brothers were in the same room. Ve'hem lo hikiruhu. And they didn't recognize their own brother. Jews are beginning to recognize each other, Baruch Hashem. We're feeling very much this enmeshment with each other in a good way. Because our enemies had the nerve to enter into the Kodesh Kodashim of who we are and to murder and to abuse our brothers and sisters. And you don't mess with our brothers and sisters. And the family is now together and we're invincible. Because you could have an argument in the family, but if somebody messes with your little sister, your little brother, the family gets together. The antidote to Amalek and the antidote to fear is Knoises Kol HaYehudim. Bring the Jews together. Nikalu va'amoid al nafsham. When Jews come together, va'amoid al nafsham, they're unstoppable and they're not afraid when they have each other.